You could say that seeking is wholly and completely the physiological movement of it simply cannot be this. It simply cannot be the hearing of a voice. It simply cannot. And then a follow-up with that, you could say part two is the waiting for something to happen. And something totally outrageous, or something totally boundless and unbelievable, that so unbelievable that you could tell everybody about it, and then you'd finally have proof. It just simply can't be just this. It can't be just the hearing of a voice, sensations in the body, feelings, thoughts, whatever is spontaneously happening. It just can't be that. And that is seeking. And what's being suggested here is that no one is doing that, that's just how it appears to be. And it's wholly as that it simply can't be this. It can't be ordinary, plain hearing of a voice, where it's just simply not explainable. Everything has to be explained, and everything has to be understood. And it seems to be that life in general, that life is life, and life is linear, and that there's a path, and that this then too, there has to be a path. There has to be a path to this pain, suffering, or whatever is imagined. That simply, it can't be this. And what's been suggested here at this meeting is that there's just, well, there is what's appearing to happen, and it's totally unknowable, and that is the mystery, and that there isn't you and life. There's just life, or what is, or the nameless, the wordless, and that all that you really can't do anything about seeking. Seeking just appears to happen, till suddenly seeking, we'll say, stops, and that you've never did a tiny bit of seeking, and that you simply will never find, because you're not there to do anything. And of course, it may seem like that. It may seem like you're doing the thinking, the breathing, the feeling, the choosing, and whatever has been, and then the seeking, and that there is yearning for something, and that there is whatever is being described. Nothing really here is being denied. There is nothing is known, and nothing can be held on to. And in a way, that perhaps is the kind of, you know, free fall that just simply can't be held on to, and it can't be held by a word or an idea or a concept, and it absolutely won't be ever bound by anything at all. And yet it appears totally as bound. And that's how it appears to be. And so I'm just enjoying this little particular bit of pricking here. Anyway, so the doggies. Anyway, so let's have a go though. Let's see what happens, and let's have a chat. And if there's something there to be asked, then it's there to be asked. And yeah, if you happen to by chance been to one of these, then just click the unmute button and ask whatever is there to be asked. And yeah, let's see what happens. Sorry, so I didn't hear a word you said, George.
So can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can perfectly, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, there's just this question that comes up, and it has to do with like it seems over here there's like this can be, you know, described, apparently described, right? And then over there it seems like it's there a description of what appears can be forthcoming, and and the descriptions will be different. So like, so what I don't get is how does that, like, if this is all like, okay, so like there's just this and there's nobody that knows this, but somebody else, or like let's say there's somebody on this screen, let's say you're talking, and so that's what that's what's seeming to appear, someone else talking. But to say more like, oh, that's somebody that is also has an apparent knowing of, or it can apparently describe, like they have their version of this in a way. I know there's no them, but you know, like it seems to appear that they have, that it shows up as this, that there's a reporting about this from that perspective over there. You know, and there's a reporting of this from this apparent perspective over here. So like, what's to like, how do you account for like others, or not that there are others, but that it's like a perspective thing, like point of view, like different vantage points. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it's because it's sort of like everybody's got their point of view in a way, you know?
Yeah, and yet there isn't a point of view. I don't have a point of view.
Right. There's just this.
I don't have anything. I don't,
Right.
and this isn't a perspective. This isn't a point of view. And really, nothing is being described. But you see, nothing isn't a thing.
So when someone, so for let's just say for you, even though there's no you.
Yeah, don't worry about all that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So for you, I show up on the screen and I start talking, and I start sharing whatever's being described.
Mm-hmm.
And they're different, you know, like my description is different than your description. I don't know if it's my internet. So
yeah, well, I don't have a description though. I don't have a description for this.
Okay.
You could say the only description or the only words that are appearing are, there's a suggestion that there's no one doing anything anywhere. And yet, look, voices talking, hearing, let's just say. And it seems like if there's a felt feeling that there's someone, then there are others, and things then can be explained. There also seems to be the other is a total cluelessness, a total not a knowing of cluelessness. It's just a sort of it's impossible even to say what this is then. So, but you see, in a way, it seems like then that stories have to be held about what this is. So then this is a meeting. We're talking about non-duality, and that perhaps it has a purpose then. And to show someone that there's no self, for example. So there isn't a self, right? There isn't anyone growing the grass, the trees, and doing the thinking, asking that question. And it's just, there's somehow this happening, let's just say, which is all inclusive. So there's nothing then that can describe this, and nothing apart from this that can describe it. But within this, it seems like through words become the real, and that everything then can be objectified. And so then, even when, you know, there's nothing being described, it seems like, well, he knows then that there's nothing. No, he doesn't know that there's this, he doesn't know anything. But how do you account for anything, though? How do you account for, you see, it's lost in the idea, well, they give me something that is knowable and explainable and parkable, you know, but there isn't anything at all. So this is then dying into the mystery. They're dramatic words now, but dying into it. And so, but nobody dies into the mystery. There's just this mystery that was always there, that is always there, that isn't the case already, except there can be, seems to be, a lost in, or what is reported or described as a lost in images and ideas of what this is, what this could be, should be, would be. And it's like as if the top line, few sentences about this then makes it what it is. And all this, so no. What sentence is going to say what this is then? This is it? That doesn't say it. There's just what's appearing to happen. This is nothing appearing to happen. This is nothing. Silence. So it's all, they're all just words then. And then that's why it's, you know, it's always other than, it's like, it's always somewhere else. It's always the next little thing, the next thing, just, it's always, it just simply can't be this. Now, no one's doing that. That just seems to be how it is. So what's then, you know, clapping hands, that's known. That's a, is that known? Does that explain this? Nothing explains this. And so then what will be said, or what can be said when all the images and ideas and seeking falls away? What can be said? Well, actually, whatever appears to be said. So it's the same as that question there. That was just a question that appears to be asked. It may seem like, well, you're doing the asking, but that's spontaneously just happening. It's just happening, you could say. And that, again, that makes it then, okay, oh, well, it's just happening. So forget that then. And so then without all the learned words, all the ideas, concepts, held beliefs about what this could be, should be, would be, where it came from, arriving here, blah, 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 everything, what can be said? Well, seemingly, what can be said can be said. You know, that seems to be happening then. But also, it's too late then. It won't be caught. So that's why it's sort of wonderfully playful, really. But that play, unfortunately, can be fucking horrible. So, yeah.
So someone sharing, a parent, someone sharing something, and it's that's also just this total mystery, completely unknowable, just
that question,
wordless.
that
Yeah.
question is the same as the response. It's the exact same, but it can feel like, oh, the question might get somewhere, or it might come to a response, but that is also this, everything. So you can't do it or not do it. You can't get it or not get it. You can't have it or not have it. You can't have it or not have it. Like, it's gone and it never went. But then you see, saying it's and all that, it all kind of gives the impression then, oh, he knows this, I want to know. No, it's you who knows. And then it just seems to repeatedly just return to, okay, well, there's just what is, hearing a voice, sounds, feelings, sensations, whatever.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. You could also say that this sort of thing is like, that's that which is kind of, thirsting for knowledge, sort of just wants knowledge and information, and it's trying to get this, and every time nothing really is being returned, and nothing doesn't satiate, but nor does it doesn't either make you full or empty or anything at all. And so then really you see, it's this, like, but it's not like then when all that kind of stops, we'd say that suddenly we'll be just going, oh, it's this, it won't be known then, it's just that it's a fucking absolute killer, this, because there is no one already. So who can know then that but it seems like that movement to acquire and have this, just, but nothing changes because there was never anybody. So then it's not like suddenly going around and you won't eat the extra chocolate biscuit. You might eat 10 of the fuckers, so it's just images and ideas, and somehow, I don't know, yeah.
Hey, Frank.
Hi, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody else taking?
No, go for it. I'm just doing a lot of pricking with this camera here. Go for it, yeah, Andy. How you doing?
Hi, I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, I suppose I was thinking a little bit about what you were saying earlier on, and the in general, I suppose the question of the human nature and apparent intent to do actions. And it led me to think a little bit about, well, what you were talking about earlier, the illusory nature of if there's a felt sense of a person, an identity, then there's this illusory sense of a life that has a beginning and an end. But I mean, that illusion, in a way, the word illusion is a bit of a teaser. It doesn't really.
Did I use the word illusion?
No, I don't know if you've used the word illusion, but I've heard it said so many times that it's illusory in nature. What would you say then?
It doesn't seem like that comes out of my mouth. That in a way, you see, that's why you can say, well, there is what's appearing to happen. So if it's being felt that this is life and it's being lived and I'm living it and I'm getting through it, then that is what appears to be felt and described. So, but it's not like it's going to be validated here. There's plenty of places to go for that. So, but if it's definitely felt okay, but like you know, it's in a way, it's kind of like Andy's saying there's someone in there, and he feels like that he's trying to get this. Then that is what Andy is. That's what you're saying, right? That's what you're saying. And then if that suddenly stops, then okay. It's, you know what I mean? It's just how it appears to be, but it's not like I don't like illusion because it gives the impression that there's, first of all, somebody knows it to be an illusion and that there's something behind or beyond or anything else. I just don't like it. In a way, I don't like the word dream either.
Right.
Because it seems like, okay, like, so that's why you know, you can you're so limited on the words, but by saying there is just what it is, this isiness, that you could say there's this isiness, right? And then after that, whatever story is going to be told about this, then
I think that just on that, though, the use of the word illusion does sort of provide an illumination of the separation, whereas saying what is just what's happening doesn't.
Yeah, and I just don't like because then it's all see through the illusion. Who's going to Christ?
Well, exactly. That was going to be my follow-up. You know,
who's going to
essentially,
see through the illusion? It's all.
Yeah, you are.
You know, it's
felt
all
sense of
more
an
talking.
identity is the dream.
It's all more talking to somebody, and then this is explainable as a real thing called an illusion. So I know it to be an illusion. Then, all right, well, good for you. Then, see, can you get 15 or 20 minutes out of that? Not anything is noble. That's what's been suggested here. But and I think it is the case as well that somehow the words are taken to be the real, you know. So even the unreal is a real thing called unreal. And so then, oh, this is an illusion or it's a dream. Okay, great.
Well,
it's somebody saying,
it's
I know
only
there's
the
no
dream for the person. What is not a dream.
Well, you see, it's just there's there even saying there's just what is, right? It suggests that then it can be known as a thing apart called what is, and that can't be known though. So I suppose it seems to be then a kind of, let's just say in this communication, seems to be a sudden quick return to, well, there's just this isiness, we'll call it talking, hearing, sensing, feeling, and then, but also nothing is denied. So then whatever question comes up, that's also this, you know, that's also this. It's also just happening.
Of course.
So the question about illusion is fucking amazingly amazing.
But it's like saying a hurricane is air. You're not making a distinction. What's the difference between the air in my room and a hurricane? You know, there is a distinction. So that's what I'm getting at. That's why I think people use the word illusion in the sense of there being a person. But you're right, it's all basically the same thing. It's all basically what is. You see why I'm getting confused by this a little bit? I'm not confused, actually. I just don't know anything at all. But the point I was making really was that the dream, you know, you
I
can
just
never actually
don't,
get
yeah,
out
I
of the
don't
dream.
use
If you
words.
like. You don't like
Sometimes
the word dream. That's
it's not that I
fine.
don't like them or I'm choosing not to. It just
No.
seems like I don't use words like illusion, dream. I
Yeah.
rarely use words like wholeness, oneness, liberation. I rarely say those things. And it's not like I'm going out of my way because I love beautiful words like that. It's not, I'm suddenly choosing. It just seems to be how this comes out. And it just seems
Yeah.
to be minimal words like that. There might be a lot of sound and fury, but not an awful lot has been said really at all. And so that's why then, and the only thing that you could say is that there is a kind of a return to just this inexplicable immediacy, this like, whereas the other movement always wants to kind of go away, get to understand it, get to the bottom of it, and know it to be X or Y. And so that then there's a response to that. And then it's a sudden seems to be a return to just this. See, this isn't anyone's communication here then. There isn't anything known, but it seems also there's a little bit of a describing about how this comes out, you know, or how these words come out. And that, you know, I kind of find it amazing because it's very, very, very ordinary. It's very, very simple. It's not complex language, but then there's a lot of sounds here now, but really nothing at all wonderfully is being said. Nothing's known. It's not about an experience. It's not about a getting, acquiring. It's not about moving from A to B. It's not about progress. And it's nothing to do with understanding at all. But some words are absolutely confusing, you know, or some words ping the mind, it seems like, down rabbit holes. And those rabbit holes then, that the feeling can be, oh, you know, there's something that's missed. I'm not quite getting this. And most other communications, that's reinforced. No, you're not quite getting this. You're not. And that's not here. It's saying that there's just this immediately this. There's already no one there. It's already the case. But unfortunately, already the case can feel like it's not, but that's wholly there. Just the seeking. It's not, Frank, because if it was, blah, 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 I definitely, you know, so, yeah. But that's just, then again, it's just happening. It's happening, but yeah, and doesn't cut it either, saying it's just happening. But it's as good, it's as good as it can get.
No, fair enough. It's just returning to that very simple statement, which is totally useless and without any help to anybody. But yeah. So what?
Yeah, so fucking what, yeah. Boom, yeah, absolutely. So what, yeah.
Thank you.
You know, it'd be, the other would be always very subtly, well, whatever, nothing matters, so it doesn't matter. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Andy?
No, it's been just, you flattened me with that one, so that's just great. Completely flattened. There's no bumps, there's no, what they call it, gradient or anything. There's no, you know, I like the idea that, you know, you drop the word, or you never use the word illusion, or you doesn't tend to come out. Because once you start going down there, I can see how you are starting to provide some sort of something to grab onto and try and climb. And
but that just seems how it appears to be being communicated, as opposed to, sorry, you're trying to ring me. That just seems to be how it appears to being communicated, as opposed to any decision at all about that. You know, it's and also that kind of return to just this seems to be also how it appears to be. And yeah,
very Spartan.
Very
That's the right word.
Spartan.
Well, there's just, you know, nothing. Nothing to grab onto at all.
Yeah.
Not even an illusion.
There really is nothing to grab onto. And then even nothing. Oh, it's nothing. Oh, what are you going to do with that? It can't hold on to that. And you can't hold on to your own attempt to try and hold on. And it can't. And it's just...
It dissolves the idea. It dissolves the idea that there is a person that here there's a tendency to think, you know, the dream or the illusion is me, is the identity, and what is, if you like, everything, including that illusion and that dream. But I'm still allowing the illusion and dream to exist, even though they're just illusions. And that sense, I think what you're doing is just saying, well, I just don't bother using those. There's only really...
Yeah, that just seems to be how it is. It's not that, it seems to be that's how the word, but it's nothing to do with the words, because not one word will hold on to this. Not one word will capture this. Not one word will make it seem real then. And so then really there is nothing to hold on to. And you could say that, who knows the sensing or feeling of what that also can bring fear, because it has to be something. There has to be something. But there's nobody to be afraid or not afraid. But fear can appear to happen, and anything else can appear to happen. Laughter, everything. But it's already the case. It's already the case. So that question and everything asked is the mystery. And you can't do it or not do it. It's just what appears to happen.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a message here that says or asks, can illusion see through illusion, or can illusion see its mischief? Well, so there isn't a real thing that's an illusion. So then the mystery doesn't begin or end. Go for it, Kelly. No need to be polite.
I think you said nobody's doing anything. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
There's no one. in the entire universe.
What?
There's no one in the entire apparent universe.
Okay.
Nobody asked that question.
Yeah.
Nobody replied. And this is the sound of nothing. And totally beyond the mind and concepts and ideas. That's not a having either by saying that.
No, can't have that.
Say that again?
No, can't have that.
No.
No.
See, there's just, who could have anything? Oh, and then that's why certain, if there was someone that can have something, really it just seems to be held experiences, held ideas, and held images of what this is. And that sort of binds it into what it is or isn't, when neither is or isn't explains anything. And it's just, all this really is just a sharing of this, the mystery. And in the world of knowings and havings, there's nothing here. And maybe perhaps that's just expressed. It seems to be that's expressed, but also it perhaps can be sensed, or and then when that which is used to acquiring and having is never satiated, really. That's a description. I don't know if that, you know what I mean?
I think so.
Mm.
Like it's not enough. Never enough.
Yeah, really, it's you're just so used to getting, and also sort of sick of that. You could say sort of sick of all that havings, sort of nauseated by it in a way. And then this, in a way, you could say, and this is no one and nothing to do with anyone, but you could say this sort of is like being bathed in nothing, and not a hair is touched on the head. Nothing happens. And all the while is that, you know, come on, come on. And they're just kind of nice words, bathed in nothing, you know? They're sort of flowery words. If I was to be, that's being a little bit creative with words, apparently. Bathed in nothing. Or you could just say, nothing happens, nothing happens. It's this, immediately this. But it's not like that's, it just seems to be, that seems to be the return. That seems to be Jesus. The return to that, this inexplicableness, this unfathomable, without the stories of becoming and having and acquiring and dropping away and all of that, and just a return to the total ordinary, sitting on a chair, breathing, feeling. And so then if wanting more is how it is, then that's how it is. Go for it, Tej. Everybody's been polite.
Hi, Frank.
Yeah.
When you say there's just this happening, and other speakers also say that, basically, in a way, it's saying there's no history, there's no past, present, or future. It's simply this. Because whenever we have the concept of a past, present, or future, then all these things we are thinking of how it should be, how it was, how it's going to be, and all that crap just adds on to what's just happening. What would you say to that?
Well, you see, if you were to describe this communication, it seems to be here now. It seems to be a continuous return to the immediacy, just this inexplicableness, right? But in a way, it's by saying there's just what is or what's appearing to happen, that then isn't making this real. Then that isn't giving you, in a way, it's too late to say there's just what's appearing to happen. So then you can say, well, it is as talking, it is as that question, but even that doesn't catch this. So not a word, there isn't anywhere to hang your hat. There's no place to put that anchor. So this is lost at sea. But, you know, and really, even by saying like, oh, well, there's just what is, that the problem with that is it gives the impression of, well, he knows that there's just what is. And then it seems like when hit with that, then the response to that is that no, nothing is known. And that just seems to be what's said. And then you can say, well, this is nothing. This is nothing then.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
not. It's not a concept.
Yes, exactly.
It's not a concept of anything. So then,
Right.
what's clearer is you could say, well, there's the hearing of this is nothing. There's the hearing of this is nothing, but that doesn't matter either. And then suddenly, oh, the fucking it doesn't matter what the words are then, because there isn't, nothing is held to be real. So then what is then is not a real thing, or like when we were talking about illusion or dream or whatever words, none of those are real. But then that is, well, actually, there's nothing that is real. Without telling the story.
Yeah. And then actually, like you said, it's the concepts, actually those concepts that we carry and that we put on what's happening is what gives it the reality, right? I mean, in a way. That's
and even then, it seems like nothing can be held to be, is the concept. And that's the least tasty the least tasty of all the words. You could say nothing is the least tasty, but then nothing isn't a thing apart that it is real. You can't have that either. But maybe nothing could have you if you were.
that is, yeah, right.
I like that one, yeah. If you were. But
yeah, but it's the overlay of concepts, whatever they are, past, present, future, the naming of things, understanding of things, all of that stuff is an overlay on what's happening. And that gets us caught up in that, as understanding it, basically.
Well, yeah, also though, I mean, you could say that this sort of cuts through the concepts, but it's not a purposeful cutting through the concepts. It's the exposing that nothing is real and a sharing about the mystery that doesn't seem to begin or end, that nothing is knowable. But in a way, we're so used to just devouring concepts.
Yeah.
Getting something to add. And then this is nothing to do with any of those. But you see, that then can become a concept. Oh, this is nothing to do with the concepts. But then that can be another concept that's held. And so, it's nothing's known. And so that's why when the whole thing, let's just pretend and say, when the whole thing stops, it'll be, Frank, what the fuck were you doing grabbing the microphone? There's nothing to say, really. But nobody's doing anything. So nobody's asking that question, wondering about concepts. And nobody's replying, that
Mm.
won't be known then.
I guess that's why, you know, some of the speakers, like you say, it's not about the concept or understanding it. It's the like energy that it's like felt or something in the body. Yeah. When
Yeah,
there
you
is,
could say that. I think when nothing is really on, nothing is offered, it can be felt. But who knows, like, you know, in a way, there's something very attractive about all the concepts, but all those concepts of just a little bit more, just a little bit more, you're getting there. There can be a total sickness with that. There can be just a total sorry now. And so then this is here, it's evidently authorityless. It's not special. Nothing is being explained. No anything at all. And yet that, so then it's sort of, you could say maybe it's a mirror almost. You could play with that and say that all, then the seeking can be without it being happening, exposed to be simply that, simply that, simply the dis-ease. And just that's also just happening. So then seeking is just that. But it can be heavy and it can be whatever is being described about it. So, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it's concepts, yeah. Mostly the world over is just eat, feed me, feed me, feed me, eat, eat, trying to eat the world almost.
Or understand the world, you know, or time.
But yeah, metaphorically you could say it's like that, just trying to get more and more. And then there seems to be the taste for all those, the heaviness of the stories, the insights trying to be explained, that it can be held as that or referred to, all those things. Oh, I had it there, or I lost it. Oh, I have it. I have it now. I have it. All right, do you have what? Like nothing?
Yeah.
So,
but it happens in our day-to-day activities. Just, you know, reflecting back, I mean, you can see whatever is happening, there is an overlay of, oh, this is what it is. This is what happened. This happening now. This is going to happen in the future. This whole thing, it's all artificial because it's not really happening. It's just the mental construct that's getting overlaid.
yeah, you could say it's a house of words as well.
Yeah.
Like a house of cards, almost, the whole thing. I just like that analogy as opposed to it being a real thing then. That's a house of cards.
Interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody want to see the fancy thing again?